We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. This episode of The Real God is Not in the Bible. The Bible is not about God at all. The Bible is not about God. And the Bible isn't even a spiritual book at all. I have proof positive for you, like I do in every episode of The Real God is Not in the Bible. I'm loving this series. Had a tons of views, tons of comments on this series, and I'm loving it. So come on in, come on in, come on in. Welcome to our new member, all our new subscribers. Hey, on the Valerie Love YouTube channel and the Christian Witches YouTube channel. Come on in, come on in, come on in. You are loved. You are appreciated. If we haven't met, I'm Reverend Valerie Love, also known as Kaisi. I'm the author of 25, soon to be 26 books on practical spirituality, Christian witchcraft, occult teachings, origins of humanity, spirituality, all the good stuff. All the good stuff. Okay? For our new members here, Marina, welcome to the channel, new member, yay! Now, oh Brazil, how you loving Brazil? Now, family, I've got to say something to you. I am back from Bali. I was traveling for 6 weeks. I'm just going to tell you this before we dive into David was a Hellion, and Solomon, I don't know, did he exist at all? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. Another new member. Welcome, 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 new members. Yay! Thank you for your love and support of both the Valerie Love YouTube channel and the Christian Witches YouTube channel. I freaking love you. Texas, how you loving? Are you dumb? That name is incredible. Are you dumb? Okay, are you dumb from Texas? Love it, love it, love it. You keep them on your toes. Are you dumb? I can tell. So I've been traveling. So if you've been following the travels on the Valerie Love YouTube channel, then you know that I was in Miami, then I went from Miami to New York on July 6th. How you love it? How you love it? And then on July 6th, I boarded the Queen Mary 2, all the videos here on the Valerie Love YouTube channel. I boarded the Queen Mary 2 for my first ever transatlantic cruise. I cruised across the ocean, was in the heart of Yemaya, the ocean mother, for 9 days and 8 nights. I never saw that much water in my entire born days on this planet. And I promise you, if I didn't know that this was a water planet before, I do now. UK, how you love it? I was in the UK too. So that water was incredible because I got to put pen to paper because I was focused, and I told all my people and all my teams and everybody before I left, I'm not going to be Facebooking, YouTubing, Telegramming, Instagramming, WhatsApping. I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be focused, and I was focused. And do you know, while I was on that ship, I got 50,000 words written of the book. I was so happy this book is coming out on 11/11. Hey, Limitless Energy, come on in, come on in, come on in. And so if you do not have your spot yet, oh, I got the goosebumps. If you do not yet have your spot at the book launch party, it is selling right now. It's virtual. We're going to be together. The link is below. And if you get it during this live stream, I'm going to put the link right here in the comments. If you get it, I was thinking about this earlier today, just to incentivize action, because I love when people take action. I just love it, love it, love it. If you get it, if you get your ticket to the virtual book launch while we're on today, I'm going to give you a gift of the book. Okay? Because the book is not included. I just dropped the link in the chat. If you get your ticket to the book launch, and you'll see other options on the page too. The book launch is coming, and it's going to be a private Zoom virtual book launch where we are going to get into the nitty-gritty about this book. The Real God is Not in the Bible. It's going to be astounding. It's earth-shattering. It's got proof. It's got professors. It's got Bible scholars. It's got archaeology. It's got biology. It's got the Anunnaki. There's no book on the planet like this one. None. There's no book on the planet like this one. And it comes out. So if you get your ticket to the book launch while we're on this live stream, then I'm going to give you a gift of the book, the ebook version. Okay. If you get your ticket. Hey, Rory Day, how you loving? Let's get into David was a Hellion and Solomon didn't write Proverbs. The Proverbs came from Egypt. Come on, everybody knows that. Solomon ain't write no Proverbs, okay? The Proverbs came from Egypt. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get Family, you know how crazy Reverend Val is. Woo, child, the church folks be coming for this witch, and I don't care because we must understand truth, right? We must understand truth. Smash up the likes. Smash up the likes. I realize that everybody clicked on the link and went and grabbed their ticket for the virtual book launch. We're going to be in a Zoom together. I realize you did that. And while you do that, smash up the likes and be sure to share it. Let's go on screen share. And let's begin. Oh my God, do I love this. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, here we are. So welcome. This is Witchy Wednesday, and I love coming together on Witchy Wednesday. I freaking love it. I love Witchy Wednesday. I have been doing Witchy Wednesday before we even had the Christian Witches YouTube channel. I've been on the Valerie Love YouTube channel. I've been on YouTube for over 15 years. I absolutely love it. YouTube has done so much for what I share with people and for what I share with the world. YouTube has brought tons of people to our retreats all over the globe, including the retreats that I just got to lead in Bali, 2 retreats in Bali, absolutely spectacular. I'll show you some pictures a little later on. And remind me to show you some pictures a little later on. And so I've been teaching on YouTube for a decade and a half. And I freaking love it. I freaking love it. I'm so thankful. So we have the Valerie Love YouTube channel and the Christian Witches YouTube channel. As I mentioned earlier, I am the author of 25 books on practical spirituality. So if you're new to this channel, if you're new to this work, if you're new to this conversation, if you're new to this incredible, global, beautiful, magical community that loves the Bible and Christ and all the things too, if you're new here, then please do pick up the books. And when you become a member on the channels, either one of the channels, because now the Christian Witches YouTube channel is monetized. Yay. So if you're a member on any of the channels, you're going to get copies of the books. We're still loading that up on the Christian Witches YouTube channel. We're still loading up links to the gifts. So they're coming. They're coming, channel members. So thank you. This is the big one. This is a big one. This is a hot selling book that sells every single day. If you have it, please do leave a review. Please do leave a review for any of the books. And what do we do in this community? Just so you understand where you are, what we're about, what is the intention. We're here to do the great work. What is the great work? Ascension. The only question is, as Kabbalists say, when you look in the mirror to ask yourself is, am I God yet? That's the question. And so we are doing the work here to free our minds of religious dogma and doctrine that no longer serve our evolution and our ascension, and move into understanding that we are the magic. You are the magic. I am the magic. And that the magic is not in a book. The magic is not in anything outside of you. The magic is not in a sky daddy or believing in sky gods. Sky gods can't help you. You are it. You are the magic. You are the infinite consciousness that is all. You are the infinite love that knows all and grows all. You are it. And so what we are doing in the mystery school, because we do have a mystery school, what we do in the mystery school is that we come into gnosis. That's a knowing of who you are, our nature and our origins. We got to know that. That's why we talk in this series about the Anunnaki and their tampering with the DNA and the genetic manipulation. Yet they are not gods and they did not create anything. If you take 2 roses and you crossbreed them, you didn't create roses. They didn't create anything. They took elements that were already here, and because they had advanced knowledge and wisdom and understanding and advanced technology of the DNA code, which we just mapped DNA in the 90s. We're late to the DNA party. They already knew what we're still finding out. And it's not that we can't know it, we can know it. So pick up all the books from Valerie Love and please do leave a review. Now, why am I doing this series? I thought this was a good time for me to talk about why I am doing this series, because this series really could be on television, it could be on Gaia, it could be on Humanities Team. So absolutely send out the love vibe. This could be on the History Channel. This whole series could be across the globe. That is my intention. So let me share with you why I'm doing this series, because some people tend to think that I don't like the Bible. I actually love the Bible. That's why I really want to know what the Bible is talking about. And I desire to know what the Bible really is. And in decades of research and study, and they gave me my first Bible when I was 3 or 4, probably like you, right? We grew up with the Bible. So because we learned and understand that we're magical beings, it doesn't mean that we need to get rid of the Bible. It doesn't mean that we need to get rid of Christ or get rid of any of the relationships that we built in spirit realms when we were in the Christian faith. Just get rid of the dogma and the doctrine and the stuff that humans made up. They made up a lot of that shit, and you don't need to carry it anymore because it's too heavy. Okay? So why am I doing this series? I'm doing this series because we're talking about the upheaval of beliefs that have been held for thousands of years. People have believed the things that we are talking about for thousands of years. It is time to let it go. Humanity is entering a golden age and we are ascending. It is time to let go of beliefs that we have held for thousands of years that are simply legendary, yet we still want to ascribe to them truth. Now, I must acknowledge all of you who are watching this series. I must acknowledge all of us who are taking on the very challenging and sometimes terrifying journey of deconstructing beliefs that we have held for the longest, or deconverting from your former faith or your prior faith. If you have started to parse these ideas and concepts in your consciousness and realize that some of these are pretty yucky, some of them are horrible, some of them are downright lies, some of them could be helpful, some of them I need to get rid of ASAP. That's our work, is going inside of our own consciousness and doing the parsing. It's called discernment. What's working for me? What isn't? What's true? What is it? What's true and what's not true, yet still helpful? What are you talking about, Rev? How could it be true? How could it be not true and helpful? It can be not true and helpful. A lot of people are still on the Adam and Eve story. It's not true yet. For people that are at that level of consciousness that still require a mythology of a man and a woman in a garden with a serpent and an apple, it's helpful. See, at certain stages, it doesn't have to be true for it to be helpful. And then after you meditate on that for a while, you realize, wait a minute. See, these methodologies are ladders. Now, when you're on a baby rung, they tell you a man had a boat and he put 2 otters on it and 2 camels and 2 tigers. We already been through that. And then that's like low rungs on the ladder of consciousness. It's helpful. It's not true. It is helpful, right? So I don't disparage any beliefs that we've had, because I used to believe a whole bunch of shit that ain't true. I still probably believe a whole bunch of shit that ain't true. That's okay, because it's helpful. It's still getting you to the expansion of consciousness. It's still taking you up the ladder. Just keep going up the ladder. And some people just get stuck on one rung. No, Jesus is Lord and Savior. He died for our sins. You ain't got no fucking sins. I said it. You don't have sins. That's another thing they made up. Thank you, Augustine. These quote unquote church fathers, the church mothers never told you that. The church mothers said, you can do it, baby. Come on. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. The church mothers were encouraging you. The church fathers, quote unquote, told you, oh, yeah, you're born in sin. You need a savior. That's not true. Yet, for a time, it can be helpful until you take that next rung on the ladder and you continue to expand your consciousness. And then you say, oh, wait a minute. It doesn't seem like something's wrong with me. I came to that conclusion after years of meditating. I was like, there's nothing wrong with me. No, there's not. That's right. The universe said, that's right. There's nothing wrong with you. We keep thinking something's wrong with us. You weren't born in sin. You're not an accident. You're not an oops. Even if your mom and dad said that, we didn't mean to have you. Well, guess what? I'm here. So the universe brought me here. So let me get on to what I'm getting on to. All right. So I understand, family, what we are doing in this series, really what my life's work is about, is very challenging because my life's work is about freedom. I gave myself to freedom spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially, and catalyzing freedom and being an inspiration for freedom to everyone, everywhere, whoever I can be of help to. And for the people that don't get with me, great. There's somebody else out there for you. Everybody ain't got to get with me, right? I'm not everybody's cup of tea good, but I should be free. As I just said, freedom. Freedom is something's wrong with you. Freedom from believing that you don't have the power, the God in the heaven has the power. Freedom from all the limiting beliefs and shackles that have been placed upon us since the time we were in our mother's wombs. Right? We must be free to examine every belief in order to be free. That's our work. We must, I implore you, to examine every belief. Where did I get this from? I believe this. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Because no one is born with beliefs. And I don't want to have any beliefs. I want to stab every belief in the neck and watch it bleed out on the floor. That's what I want to do. So every time I find a belief in my consciousness, I'm like, oh, who are you? Well, I came from generational lack and limitation. Well, what do I believe? I believe you have to work too hard to get this, that, or the other. I believe money don't grow on trees. I'm the belief that I need to stab you in the neck and watch you bleed out on the floor. Hell no. Okay. Fred, you are so right, Fred. Oh my God, Fred, you are so right. Fred said, they don't want this message out. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So I connected to a different um connected to a different one. Okay, let me know if you see me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me know if you see me in comments. Fred, you are absolutely Fred, you are absolutely right. They don't cool. We're back and wading through all the glitches. Thank you, Superfood Parents. You are so mwah, mwah, mwah. That's why I love y'all. That's why I love y'all, because y'all are the tribe. Y'all are the warriors. Y'all like, no, we don't go for glitches. It's a glitch in the matrix, and we gonna see it through. I freaking love y'all. I freaking love y'all. So where I was is that when we are deconstructing, deconverting from the things that we have learned and held on to, our family, your mic sounds nice. Oh, good. Thank you, Superfood Parents. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm actually we're still resting and recovering from Bali, because on the other side of the world it's the exact opposite time. It's the exact opposite time. Oh, this message is getting out. The book is getting ready to drop. The book is getting ready to drop, Carla. And oh my God, when that book drops, it's y'all gonna see me on NBC, CNBC, ESPN, even though they're talking about sports. Hey, let's talk about the Bible. Let's pause everything. By the way, props to Simone Biles. Did she kill it? She killed it. Okay. All right. So the message is getting out. So what we must understand is that we have believed things for millennia, our generation, the generations before us and before us and before us. So if you are doing this work of deconstructing, deconverting, examining your every belief about what works for you, what does not work for you, your spirituality, you are doing something that is so courageous and that most people won't do, because they'll just get the whole bucket of beliefs from their parents, from their religion, and just carry around the bucket of beliefs. Well, this is what we believe. No, drop the bucket and let's see what your own inner wisdom is guiding you to and through. Let's go back on screen share. Yes. Remember, family, one other thing I want to say. Remember, yes. Remember, oh, screen share on mode or not cancel. Okay, let me go to screen share. Remember that if you are loving this series, I want you in that Zoom with me where you and I can talk. Because when I'm on YouTube and Facebook, I'm talking to y'all. That's why I love Zooms with our community. I love Zooms so that I finally get to see y'all and hear y'all talk and see your faces, and we get to have a conversation, because I can't see y'all while we're on here. So get your ticket to the virtual book launch. And if you get your ticket during this live stream, because we can see when everyone ordered their ticket, if you get your ticket during this live stream, I will gift you the ebook. Okay? The ebook is on pre-order now, but you don't have to buy the ebook, which is going to save you money. If you get your ticket to the virtual book launch, it is in the description below. And even if you're watching this and you are not live with us when I gave this offer, get in that book launch anyway, because I've also got there a mini course. And I'll share with you a little bit about what's in the mini course. I'm doing a mini course because all the pictures that I take, like all around the world, cannot fit into into the book. Because I can go all through Egypt. This was me on my own journey through Egypt first, and then in 2023. I took a group also to Egypt. And when we go to Egypt again, we'll let you know so that you can accompany us if that's your desire. And so, because I cannot put all this in a book. So that's why I had to also do the course. And so there's a mini course also that if you'd like to get it with my research notes, pictures, videos from around the world, from Egypt, from Teotihuacan, from a lot of the ancient sites, Stonehenge, all of that. I can't put it in the book. No one would be able to carry the book around. The book would be like 50,000 pages. And we can't even make a book that big. So for all the stuff that I can't fit in the book that I still want to talk about and give to people, that's what's in the mini course. Okay. Now let's go back to David and Solomon and why I'm doing this series. By the way, this is the page that you're going to see for the book launch party. Okay. And discussion, because I want to discuss these things with you. All right. All right. So now we understand why I'm doing this series. Now let's talk about a little exercise. What would happen if we stopped believing the Bible is a spiritual book? It's just an exercise. What if we gave consideration to the ideas that are so profoundly and perfectly expressed from Professor Joel S. Baden? I love Professor Baden. I love Joel Baden. I love him. I love him. I love him. He seems like a brother he feels like a brother from another mother when I hear him speak. He is professor of Hebrew Bible at Yale Divinity School and director of a Center for Continuing Education. This is what Dr. Joel Baden said. Now, he is a professor of Hebrew Bible. For decades, for a very long time, he has centered his work around the Pentateuch, first 5 books of the Bible. He is one of the leading experts in the Pentateuch in the entire world. See, I don't know everything. I just go find people that know a whole lot more about things than I do. And this is what he said. Now, these are profound statements. Take a screenshot of this page because that's how profound this page is. These statements are. He said, no one who was writing the Bible thought that they were writing a Bible. It was literature. Now, think about that for a minute. This is a mind-blowing concept. This comes from a man who has studied the Bible back and forth, in and out, the Pentateuch, and is a professor of Hebrew Bible at Yale Divinity School. This is a premier, absolute premier master of Hebrew Bible. And he tells you, after all these decades of studying the Hebrew Bible, researching the Hebrew Bible, being in the Hebrew Bible every single day, what did he walk away saying? Well, no one who was writing the Bible thought that they were writing a Bible. It was literature. The Bible wasn't written for us. These are his conclusions, not mine. I just happen to agree with these conclusions. I came about these conclusions from a very different avenue. We arrived at the same mountaintop after reading the Bible for decades and decades and decades. Like, well, this can't be a holy book. Because the Bible is scriptural. Now, this is going to get into our conversation about David. Because the Bible is scripture, right? Sacred, there's a knee-jerk desire to absolve it of any apparent problems. That's the big issue with the Bible. People think it's spiritual. People think it's sacred. People think it's from God. Therefore, it's got to be right. It's got to be binding on your life. It's got to be telling us the absolute truth, when none of these are the case. None of these are the case. Now, let me come off screen share for a moment, because I would like to look you in the eye. I would like to look you in the eye. Professor Joel Baden, tell me your thoughts on this. Professor Joel Baden says no one who was writing the Bible thought they were writing a Bible. It was literature. It was simply literature. For what? For many purposes. As we go through, you see that people wrote it at different times for different purposes. They weren't writing a Bible. Thousands of years later, or at least hundreds of years later, in some cases, at least about 1,000 years later, because the Bible, they think that the Bible started being written somewhere around 800 BC, which is fairly young, all the way through maybe 2nd century CE. So for about 1,000 years, they were writing the Bible, Hebrew Bible, and then going on into the new, quote unquote, New Testament. None of them thought they were writing a Bible. People came later and said, let's make this a Bible. The intention wasn't a Bible. They weren't writing a Bible. They weren't writing a holy book. They were writing literature, which makes sense, doesn't it? That makes a lot of sense. And if we are employing the critical thinking skills that the infinite consciousness has conferred upon every single person, some of us use it to a greater or lesser degree than others. You know, we get to use the gray matter, right? We get to use the gray matter. The Bible is literature. The Bible is literature, not a holy book. That's like a bombshell. Like, it's probably one of the greatest discoveries of my entire life. It is so relieving. Like, oh my God, that just relieves me of so much, because I thought this God was maniacal and genocidal and wholly unworthy of worship. And I felt bad for saying those things and thinking those things, because the people around me were like this with the book. Oh, the Bible says. And I'm like, I'm not with that. I seem like the odd person out. Then I met all of y'all and I was like, oh, I'm not the odd person out. I am definitely not the odd person out. Okay, let's continue. Screen share. David. Let's talk about David, shall we? Okay. David was a Hellion. Yet, because the Bible is supposed to be a holy book, because it's supposed to be from God, David's supposed to be a hero. David's not a hero. You talk to church people, this man is a hero. I was scratching my head when I was in the whole Christian thing. Like, why do we like this man? Show me one redeeming thing this man has done. We like him because he was loved by God. Why? Okay, everybody's loved by God, but why do we like him? Why is he such the David and the line of David? And Jesus came in the line of David and King David. Right? They say he's a hero. Well, let's look. Okay, so let's just be pragmatic. Let's just use critical thinking skills. Let's just look at it as if it's a story and not in the Bible. Let's just look at what the Bible is reporting to us, because the Bible's just reporting. It's not saying whether it's good or bad. It's just telling us stories. Okay, that's why I love the Bible. It's just putting things in front of you. Now you decide. According to 2 Samuel chapter 11, David saw a beautiful woman and inquired about her. He was out on the top of his, palace, and he's like, ooh, who's that? So he sent his people, who's that? Oh, so they found out who she was. She's the wife of Uriah. Oh, Uriah is away fighting David's war. So David's the king, but he's hanging back in Jerusalem. He doesn't feel like going to war. He's around sleeping around with other people's wives and chilling in his castle. Well, it wasn't a castle. They didn't have castles back then. It was a palace. Chilling in his palace, according to the stories. He was chilling in his palace. Okay, so this is what the Bible tells us about him. Okay, so he said, oh, Well, her husband's away. He's far away. Yeah, tell her to come over. She comes over. She's like, hey, hey, you know, they get groovy. She's like, my husband been gone for a while, and hey, I ain't saying nothing if you ain't saying nothing. Now, can I ask you a question? Why do we like David again? why is he a hero of the Christians? Okay. But it gets better. Oh, the story gets better. Okay, they sleep with each other. They having a good old time. Okay, she goes back to her place. She's beautiful and all that. And then she sends word, hey, um, my lady, my moon time didn't come. This baby's yours because my husband been away for, everybody knows she been away. He's like, oh damn, right? He's about to get caught. Well, what does he do? Does he do the honorable thing? No. What does he do? He goes straight into lies, subterfuge. He calls for Uriah from the war. He's like, oh, damn, I got to get this man to come sleep with his wife, and then nobody will know. These are crimes. Does anyone know that these are crimes? David is doing all the things Christians tell you not to do, but somehow we're celebrating him. But don't the Christians tell you not to commit adultery? Why do we love this man? Please, can someone help me? Why do we love this man? I don't know. He sounds just as fucked up as all the rest of us. Certainly not worthy of being on anyone's pedestal. Okay. He sounds just as fucked up as all the rest of us. Okay. But the story gets better. So he says, okay, call him from the war. So they go, and it takes a while. You got to ride your horse over and all this kind of stuff. They didn't have trains or anything, no mobile phones like, hey, Uriah, get back over here. He's got to send his people, hey, you come back. He's like, oh, hey, why am I coming back? Okay. So Uriah gets back, comes to the palace, straight to the king. Yes. He says, oh, I just called you back. Lying, looking the man dead in his eye. I just banged your wife and she's having my baby, but somehow I got to get you to sleep with her. This is what the Bible says. So if you're going according to the Bible, it's all in plain English. Well, he says, so yeah, you come on. Oh yeah, you need a little rest from the war. Go home, relax. So he sends Uriah to go to his home, and he sends a gift. This is now escalating to bribery. This is pretty skanky. Okay, so he sends Uriah, go home, relax with your wife, and, wash and take a shower and all that. Well, I mean, it wasn't a shower, but, baths and all that, and relax. And he sends a gift with him. Like, wow, that's pretty slimy. Okay, well, because Uriah is honorable, he doesn't go to his home. We know the story. He doesn't go home to sleep with his wife. What does he do? He stays right outside of the palace with all the people who are sleeping out of doors because it's vigil going on, because it's a war. And he's like, I'm not going to my house and taking baths and relaxing like nothing's going on. We're at war. No, my men are still, and he's a military leader. My men are still in the field. It's almost like if you call somebody from the military to come home and they're just going to be chilling. Military people don't think like that. They're honorable. Well, that's what they teach you in the military, to be honorable, that you don't just be slouching and you're the leader of the troops, and the troops are out there and you're over here just drinking and chilling. No. Okay. So David can't get him to go sleep with his own wife, right? Okay. So then David calls him to the palace again. It's like, oh, you haven't gone home. And the man tells him why he hasn't gone home. This is all for your free reading, 2 Samuel chapter 11. Anyone can read this story. Oh, no, no, no. I can't go and sleep with my wife and relax and eat bread and be washed in this beautiful bath and all this like nothing's going on. There's a war going on. We're fighting your war, king. So I've got to stay out here. And he's like, oh, damn, this man is too honorable for me. So what does David do? At any time, he can backpedal, reassess, maybe not come clean because he's not the kind of person that's going to come clean. Maybe just reassess. What am I doing? What are we going to do? Well, he gets him drunk. He just keeps going. It's just getting worse and worse. It's getting worser and worser. And yes, I am an author. I know worser is not a word. So this time, he's still trying to get him to go sleep with his wife, even if he can just get him to go in one night with his wife and sleep, then everybody knows, oh, well, he's the one that's the father. And she shows up pregnant. Everybody knows, oh, it's when he came home from the war. If he's been gone for a war for months, and then when he comes back, he's still just chilling, everyone knows he never went to his house. He didn't indulge while other people were at war. So David gets him drunk. And he's thinking, hey, if I keep pouring more wine for Uriah, yeah. Like, how duplicitous is this? And this man is a hero? Why? Please, someone tell me why he's a hero. I was thinking these things when I was listening to the stories of David. It seemed like every turn, David is doing something he ain't got no business doing. Or why is this man on a pedestal? And why do we have to make the genealogies fit so that Jesus came from him, whether it really fit or not? Anyway, he gets him drunk. But he still doesn't go home and sleep with his wife. David is like, dang, I'm screwed. No, you're screwing. Yeah, and now you got screwed. Okay. So what does David do? He commits the ultimate war crime against his own military general. He sends his military general back to the war. He's like, okay, going back to the war. And then he tells him, put him on the front line. Because he knows he's going to get killed. And then when the man is dead, David takes his wife. Gosh. Now, I'm sitting there listening to these stories. And all the people around me, oh, they're celebrating David. David. He's an example? Yes. Why? Does anybody, let me come off screen share for a second. Is anybody feeling me on this whole David conversation? I gotta try to figure it out. I cannot make sense of this for the life of me. I can't make sense of it. Okay, Christian men love David because he gives them an excuse to cheat and lie. That's an interesting perspective. Could be. David is a hero if you're a wife stealing, cheating, elimination type of person. He's the Hellion's hero. I said David is a Hellion. There's nothing about David honorable. What? What? Oh my God. I also felt the same way about David. You did too. Free spirit forever. I couldn't understand why the Christian people were lauding this man like this man came straight out of heaven from the bosom of God, when it seems like this man is the absolute embodiment of everything that we say we don't like in Christianity. Lying, cheating, philandering, conspiracy to commit murder. Is that not a crime? Is that not a crime? Conspiracy to commit murder. Is that not a crime? Just saying. See, so if we didn't believe that the Bible was a spiritual book, or that the Bible was a sacred book, or that the Bible was God's book, we would understand its literature and we could read it saying, oh, well, this is something not to do. I like the story. I love the story. Oh my God. David is a TD Creflo type of template. And before he passed on, the one who was getting the one who, what was the bishop or the pastor who, Eddie Long, like duplicitous? It's really kind of sad because if you think these things are from God and yet supposedly God loved David so much, even through all his sins. Well, can you tell me what's redeeming about him? I mean, yeah, he's a person just like everyone else, yet he is in no way worthy of our admiration. He is to be thought of nothing less than a philandering, murdering criminal, war criminal. And that's why I have Crimes of David. Hey, oh my God, Wisconsin, Jamaica. How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? Did you miss a lot? Oh no, no, you didn't miss a lot. Discerning spirituality, you're good. You're right on time. And the good news about YouTube and Facebook is that it's here forever. Well, it's here for as long as YouTube and Facebook are, right? Carla, interesting how these topics aren't considered kid friendly except what is in the Bible. You put a book in front of kids that has, pillaging, assaults of all kinds, you know what kinds I'm talking about, war crimes, um, murder of innocents, right? All of that is in the Bible. And it's okay. Yet, it's not okay for any of these other books. You wouldn't give Game of Thrones to your 10-year-old. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, thank God I'm the source pagan now. Oh, yay. I love the new name. I love the new name. Oh, look, we got somebody else that's in Wisconsin. I love that family. Okay, let's go back on screen share. And let's wrap up on David and let's go into Solomon, shall we, before we wrap up? Remember to get your ticket for the book launch party while we're in this Zoom. Well, this is not a Zoom. While we're on the live stream, and I'm going to give you a gift of the book, okay? The book. Emotion. Let me tell you, the book had me speaking in tongues, okay? The book. Jesus. Yeah, that's what the book is going to be having. That's Oh my God. Why am I so nutty? Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's wrap up with David and let's get into Solomon. And who's the real Solomon? Because Solomon didn't write Proverbs. And they're still teaching this in school. If you go, I promise you, this Sunday, if you go to Sunday school and they bring up Solomon, they're going to say that Solomon wrote Proverbs. They're still saying it to this day, even though research and archaeology tells us differently. They're still spouting the same story because the masses that are going in church, probably not like us, the masses, they're still trying to control the masses as best they can. Now, the Tel Dan Stele, discovered in 1993 in northern Israel, it contains an Aramaic inscription that mentions the house of David. So it is possible that David was actually a historical figure, because not every person in the Bible is a historical figure. And even if they were a historical figure, they may not have been quite as legendary as the Bible makes them out to be. That's kind of what's happening with King David. Yet, something else is happening with Solomon. I don't know if there was ever a Solomon at all. I know, shocking, right? Now, here's my thoughts on Solomon. I have felt for years, this has been an intuitive knowing, that Solomon bears a striking resemblance to Amenhotep III in Egypt. Striking resemblance. Because what does the Bible tell us about Solomon? Now, Amenhotep III reigned from 1388 to 1351 BC, circa. So he would have reigned 500 or 600 years before the start of the writing of the Bible, around 800 BCE, right? So when they started writing the Bible, they had many legends to pull from. They had the Sumerian legends to pull from, Akkadian, Babylonian, later Persian influence. They also had Egyptian influence. Because remember, the whole Levant was reigned by Egypt for a very long time. So everyone would have known about all the Egyptian monarchs. They would have known about all of them. So now Amenhotep III, he reigned for quite a while, 38 years. Now they say Solomon reigned for 40 years. Amenhotep III did many extensive building projects, including Karnak and Luxor. Now, I went to Karnak and Luxor. I showed you the picture earlier, and in the mini course, I'm going to show you pictures of Karnak and Luxor, and that there is a great long, it's like a long avenue of the sphinxes, it's called. People think there's only one sphinx in Egypt. There's tons of sphinxes in Egypt. There's not just one, tons of them. This is an avenue of sphinxes. It goes all the way, it is very long. It goes all the way up to the temple at Karnak in Luxor. And so Luxor and Karnak are connected. So he took on these great building projects. And yes, there are, and see, we can see all of the stuff that Amenhotep did. What, 1388, and this is 2024, for 4,000 plus years ago. We can see all the stuff he did. Well, we haven't found anything from Solomon yet. Nothing that conclusively is Solomon. So if you put 2 and 2 together, and you know that these writers are very familiar with the legends of all the Egyptian kings and queens, Amenhotep III looks a whole lot like the template that they would have drawn on to create the biblical Solomon, including that the book of Proverbs. I'm going to do a whole nother conversation on this at another time, but next week I'm going to be talking about the transfiguration and why Jesus was seen with Moses and Elijah. I got to the bottom of that. I got to the bottom of it. And you know it has something to do with the Anunnaki. I got to the bottom of that. Anyway, that's just a teaser for next week. And I'm going to be in Miami next week. So I'm in Mexico right now. Where I'm staying, I don't know how good the signal is. Next week, I promise you a really good signal. For the live stream, I'll be in Miami. Amenhotep III, extremely wise, just like Solomon. Amenhotep III reigned peaceful the entire time, not a whole bunch of wars and conflagrations like a lot of these kings were faced with. Very peaceful. It was a marked time of peace. It was remarkable how peaceful he was able to keep things. Why? Because he was extremely diplomatic. He could communicate with all these different nations around him and keep peace among them. And how? Well, a lot of times it came sort of like how you see in Game of Thrones. They would get married. He was married. Amenhotep had many wives and many concubines. Sound familiar, like Solomon? And not only did he have wives and concubines, they wouldn't have called them concubines in Egypt, right? Consorts. Not only did he have wives, of course, he would have the main wife, which would be the queen, which would probably have been related to him, possibly, because the lineage of the kingship went through the mother. Just like in Judaism, they said, well, if your mother is Jewish, you're really Jewish. They came up with that during the period of time where people were intermarrying and they didn't, some of these Yahwehs, they didn't like this. So they came up with, well, you're only Jewish if your mother's Jewish, right? Because some of them, the father was like, hey, I'm Jewish. And it was a little bit of an interwoven kind of thing. Well, Amenhotep III had princesses from some of these foreign nations that he would be betrothed to. You know how you could be betrothed to, but she still lives in her kingdom with her people. She doesn't have to move into your kingdom, but she can still be like one of your partner allies kind of thing, because, okay, we're good because my daughter is promised, this princess over here is promised to you. And because we now have this alliance, you're not going to attack us, right? That was common. Hey, can we all get along? Sure, I'll have another princess. She doesn't even have to come and live at this palace. She can live wherever she wants. These princesses were doing what they felt like too. A lot of them. They keep trying to make us believe in a patriarchy. No, women have always been women, boo, let me tell you. And women ain't gonna never not be women. So, some scholars suggest that later biblical authors might have drawn inspiration from legends of great Near Eastern kings like Amenhotep III in crafting the Solomon narrative, but this remains speculative. That line came from the artificial intelligence, pardon me, from the AI. That in all of my research and all my book readings and all of that, sometimes I ask the AI, hey, AI, what do you think about this? What are scholars saying about this, to see who might have come to the same conclusions that I've come to? Pardon me. And sure enough, the AI told me that scholars, you mean other scholars have come to the same conclusion that I have? Because you see, the reason, pardon me, let me come off screen share for a second and look at you while I tell you this. The reason that I became obsessed with Amenhotep III, oh, I forgot to take this comment off. I got obsessed with Amenhotep III for a while. The reason why is because he is the father of Amenhotep IV, also known as Akhenaten. And Akhenaten, not Moses, was actually the first monotheist in the world, documented. Now, it could have been other people that were monotheists. We don't know. Akhenaten was the first one who said, hey guys, it's one God, not all these gods we have. The Egyptians did not take that too well. That's why everywhere Akhenaten was formerly, they wiped him out. They actually chiseled out his name from all of the things, Egypt recorded everything. They still have shopping lists from Egypt. Okay. I went to the British Museum and then I went to the British Library. I have a reader's card from the British Library to conduct my research. And I went and asked to see Oxyrhynchus 654. Is it 654? Yeah, Oxyrhynchus 654. A papyrus that they found at the trash heap. Oxyrhynchus is a trash heap. So I went because I wanted to see this. They say it's at the British Museum. Well, it was purportedly at the British Museum. By the time I did my investigative work, I had my Indiana Jones hat on. It was not at the British Museum. It was at the British Library. Good news is the British Library is not far from the British Museum, so I was able to walk over. By the way, did I tell y'all that I actually held a piece of cuneiform tablet in my hand at the British Library, at the British Museum? That's coming up. So, when I went to the British Library and asked to see Oxyrhynchus 654, they have it there. I'll show you pictures of it. Let me see if I can pull up pictures of, because I posted some of this on Facebook and on YouTube. It is absolutely amazing. Oxyrhynchus 654. Now, why am I talking about it right now in this conversation? Because Oxyrhynchus, it came from a trash heap. And in the trash heap, it's a little piece of papyrus. I mean, it's tiny. Hold on, let me find it for you. It's a tiny little piece of papyrus. And this papyrus, oh my goodness, has a part of the sayings of Jesus on it in the trash heap. That's what Oxyrhynchus is. And they found all of these, hold on, London. I'm pulling up London. So they found all of these, okay, hold on. Just give me a minute and I will pull up the British Museum. Pardon me. Let's see if I can find Oxyrhynchus. Hold on, let's go on screen share and I'll show you from the British Museum. Yeah, God's word is truth. You're absolutely right. It's just that God's word ain't the Bible. You're absolutely right. God's word is true. That's just not the Bible. For all the hundreds of reasons that we have stated and continue to state in this series until everyone understands. All right, let's go to. Now, here are my, okay, boom. This is me actually holding in my hot little hand. This is a cuneiform tablet from an actual temple. This is where it's from. This is, and it has an inscription on it from Nana. Do you see it says, for the god Nana, impetuous calf of the god An, firstborn son of the god Enlil, his lord Namu, mighty man, king of built this Temeni Guru for him. That's Nana. I actually held that in my hands. They had it at the British Museum, and it was on display. And this was, I didn't grab it out of some place where I wasn't supposed to be looking at it. It was actually part of a display where you could handle objects. Here's Oxyrhynchus. Okay, boom, here it is. This is me at the British Museum. I mean, the British Library. Me actually going to the British Library because I have to get to the bottom of things. And here it is. Do you see this? Oxyrhynchus, Papyrus 1531, fragment of the sayings of Jesus. This is all going to be in the mini course. Here's another one, fragment of the sayings of Jesus. And there it is, Oxyrhynchus. This little papyrus has on it. Do you see this little papyrus? Do you see? They found that in a trash heap. Oxyrhynchus is a trash heap in Egypt. What's better than being around? Oh my God, I was getting my whole life. Okay? Because I am not just talking about, I'm not just talking about things that other people talk about. The things I talk about, no one talks about. And when I say no one, I mean that no one talks about it from the perspective that I do. No one. I am the only one that talks about this from the perspective that I do. Yeah, people talk about the Anunnaki. Yeah, people talk about ancient civilizations. No one talks about it from the perspective of Christian witchcraft with the Bible and ancient origins and occult science. No one talks about that like I do. No one, because most people are not Christian witches. I'm pretty bizarre. I'm pretty bizarre. Okay. Oh my God, this is your first time live. Yay! I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here. I love, love, love all of you for this. Okay. The Tablet of Kish is the oldest writing on earth in cuneiform. 3500 BC. Kish is often mistranslated to Cush in Old Testament. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love that. Love that. Okay. You should check out Dana Marnichi Reynolds is hip to game too. Yes. And you know what I love? Many people understand what we're talking about. And we all come from a different perspective, different background, different research, different avenues, yet many of us are arriving at the same conclusions. See, I took a different avenue than Joel Baden. I took a different avenue than Billy Carson. I took a different avenue than Paul Wallace. I took a different avenue than Malachi Z. York. Yet, all of us came to many of the same conclusions. I took a different avenue than Matt LaCroix. Very different. Many of them do not love the Bible. I do. I happen to freaking love the Bible. And it's okay. You don't need to love the Bible. I love the Bible. And I actually use the Bible as a key to unlock occult wisdom and mystery because it's right there in the Bible. Because Christian witches do love the Bible. The Bible is an occult book. It's a book of mythology. It's a book of biology. It's a book of our ancient origins. It's a book of alchemy. It's a book of magic, necromancy. All of that is in the Bible if we know what we're looking for. Dragons are in the Bible. Have you ever read the book of the Bible? I know it's an apocryphal book, so do people understand that the only difference between a book that is apocryphal and a book that is canonical is a human being saying, is a group of dusty old dudes in Rome? Well, they came from many places, Asia Minor, Alexandria, different places, coming together in councils in Rome and choosing, do we vote? Is this one Book of Enoch? No way. Don't give that to all the people. No. So canonical, apocryphal, the only difference between these two books is human beings telling you which ones you should read and which ones you should not. And I'm a damn witch. I'm telling you straight in your back, you are the one. You are the arbiter of what's appropriate for you or not. Not some dusty old dudes that decided hundreds of years ago. Actually, it's over 1.5 thousand years ago now. What you should read and what you should not read. What's from God and what's not from God. When none of it's from God. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying that just like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and Dune and Harry Potter, they're great stories. That's the Bible also. Great stories. We don't think Lord of the Rings is from God. We don't think Game of Thrones is from God. Yet the Bible pretty much reads like Game of Thrones. Okay, let's finish up with Solomon. Because we ain't gonna be on here. We ain't gonna be on here for the next 7 hours. Okay. Let's finish up with Solomon. Okay. Yes, that church process took hundreds of years to canonize the Bible. Councils over and over and over and over. Yet, what makes those councils binding on your life? Nothing. What makes all the church councils that they had over hundreds of years, what makes them binding on your life? Nothing. It's like, I'm the king. Well, how'd you become the king? Because I said I am. Well, what made you the king? I did. And y'all should listen to me. But why? Because I said so. Would you go for that? I wouldn't. I certainly would not. Okay, let's wrap up with Amenhotep III. And the reason why I was so keen on watching and just studying, the more I studied Amenhotep III, do a deep dive on Amenhotep III. And this may not dawn on people who were not Christians readily. And as I kept reading, I was like, this sounds a lot like Solomon. See, because we know the Solomon story. So because we know the Solomon story so well, he was so wise, he was going to build the temple, he had this palace, he had the concubines, he had the wives, and eventually the wives got him away from God. That's what they told us. No, he had foreign wives. Well, Amenhotep had foreign wives, as I just described to you, for diplomatic purposes. And hey, he was like in smashing too, like all the rest of us. Come on now. If you can have it, hey, I don't mind having King Solomon to be one of my husbands or to be my husband. I'm going to be in my castle over here, palace over there. He's going to be over there. We get together when our camels go out and meet in the desert or whatever we're doing. Right? So do a deep dive on Amenhotep III, and I promise you, you will see Solomon. You will see the palaces of Solomon. You will see the Temple of Solomon. They're still looking for the Temple of Solomon. Haven't found it yet. Haven't found it yet. The search for Solomon's buildings remains an active area. This is from the Claude AI. I asked it, Claude, please confirm for me that we still have not yet, because maybe they found it recently and I don't know about the findings, because I've been looking and looking and looking. Where is Solomon's temple? Where is Solomon's palaces? I've been looking for it for the longest. Haven't found it yet. Claude said the search for Solomon's buildings remains an active area of research and debate in biblical archaeology. New technologies and methodologies may provide additional insights in the future, but for now, the existence and nature of Solomon's temple and palace remain topics of scholarly discussion rather than archaeological certainty. We haven't found jack. But go to Egypt, there's a temple on every corner from thousands of years before Solomon. Dating of the Bible, some scholars want to put it at starting at 1000 BC. There's no evidence for it being before 800 BC. King Amenhotep III, well, he's not a king, he's a pharaoh. Pharaoh Amenhotep III reigned, as we saw, from 1388 to 1351 BCE. So this is still 500-600 years before the beginning of the writing of the Hebrew Bible. So we found an older person's temple and palaces all over. We're finding scraps of the sayings of Jesus in a trash heap in Egypt. Well, we still haven't found Solomon's great temple that's spoken of in the Bible. We still haven't found Solomon's palace. Still haven't found it yet. is I don't know why are we missing this? Why are church people not talking about this? Why are people not waking up to this? Why are people ask the AI? Did they ever find Solomon's temple that's in the Bible? And I'm not saying that just because they haven't found it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I never want to convey that because maybe we haven't found it yet. Just like we never found evidence that 1 million people were walking around in the desert on some kind for 40 years in the wilderness from Egypt to the promised land. No evidence of that, none whatsoever. 1 million people, 600,000 men, plus the women, plus the children, plus the old people, were walking around in the wilderness for 1 million people for 40 years. Well, we haven't found a pottery shard. Come on. Didn't happen. So that's David and Solomon. You decide. You decide. Take a screenshot because these are some of my favorite people that I like to watch and I like to listen to. I don't take anything that anyone says at face value. I do not. I do not. I go and find out for myself. That's why you'll see me in Egypt. That's why you see me at Teotihuacan, the ancient city of Teotihuacan. That's why you see me at the pyramids. That's why you see me at the British Museum. My mouth was hanging open at the British Museum. And how much we have been lied to in spite of the things they're pulling out the ground that's showing us. People with space helmets on, the purse, the famous purse that's all the aliens have, the famous purse. They're showing us, they're wearing helmets. This is archaeology pulled out of the ground. No, we still don't want to believe it. Even though we have evidence, but evidence, but evidence, but evidence. And yet we love to believe things that have no evidence, like Solomon's temple. Love to believe that. Pamela! I love these plates you give us. It's so much to eat and digest. You can't do anything but level up. I love that, Pamela. I love you, Pamela. I'm so glad you're here with us on this conversation. Will this live be automatically uploaded to YouTube later on tonight? Because I missed the beginning. Oh, yes, it is right here on YouTube. Yes. On both the Valerie Love YouTube channel and the Christian Witches YouTube channel. And I'm giving a special while we're on this live stream. So I'm wrapping up. You only got a couple of more minutes to do it. Here is the special. Let me drop the link in the chat that if you, because you know the book is about to drop. Family, the book is about to drop. It's when this book comes out, it's gonna be wow. It's gonna be wow. Okay, so now let me take you over to this page. This is what you're gonna see. See this, family? See this? This angry God? This ain't God. This angry, warring Yahweh, Jehovah, throwing fire and brimstone at people from heaven, nuking people, sacrifice your child, Abraham. That ain't God. Those are all Elohim stories, the Anunnaki. That wasn't God. If we could just get that part, if the whole world just got this being, these beings, it wasn't one being, it's many beings, in the Bible is not God. If we just got that, wow, humanity would take a huge giant leap forward. We still believe this angry, warmongering, maniacal, genocidal personage is God. Wow. That's why we're fucked up. Because that's what we're worshiping. So the book drops, and I want you to hop in the book launch. It's a virtual book launch online. and discussion. Me and you, we're going to, and this is some of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you. Oh my God. Here's some of the stuff I'm going to be sharing with you. 10 ways the Bible is perceived. We're going to talk Codex Sinaiticus, Codex Alexandrinus, Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus, Codex Vaticanus. I've seen all of these except for Codex Vaticanus. Let me show you pictures that I'm going to put in the mini course on the codices. I have pictures of them. Boom. Okay, let's look at these pictures. Here is, oh, that's the Wycliffe Psalter. Hold on, let me get you over to, isn't that a beautiful little Bible? Oh my God, in the British Library. Here is Codex Sinaiticus, one of the oldest complete Bibles on the planet. Here is Codex Alexandrinus. Here is the Octateuch. Now that is an Ethiopian Bible, and look how they are portraying Matthew and Mark. Is that amazing? Is that amazing? Ethiopian Bible is called the Octateuch, which is the first 8 books of the Bible. Most people know about the Pentateuch. This is the Octateuch. And there it is, Octateuch with the 4 Gospels. I took these pictures myself because I need to see it with my own eyes. That's St. Matthew and St. Mark that they have there in beautiful rendition, because the Ethiopian Bible is a picture Bible as well, has pictures as well, illustrations. Look at that color. Is that beautiful? That is beautiful. It is freaking beautiful. And then that's the Octateuch in the 4 Gospels. And all of these pics I took with my own little peepers. I went straight into the manuscripts room after I got my reading card so that I could go see for myself. There is my reading card from the British Library. Shouldn't have shown it with the number, but hey, I don't think anybody's going to try to get into the British Library with my reading card, pretending that they're Valerie Love. The chances of that happening are slim to none. So this is not a game, right? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? The Ethiopian Bible, so beautiful. Okay. You remind me of Sister Shahrazad Ali back in the day. Oh, come on. I love it. I love it. Family, we got to wake up. I'm passionate about this. Got my virtual book and mini course. The course was immediately available too. Thanks, guys. Yay! Superfood Parents, come on, you in there. And for everyone who is ordering, you got about 30 seconds because I'm about to wind down. For everyone who orders the virtual book launch, we'll be together on Zoom. It will be recorded, so don't worry. You'll have it forever. Okay, you'll have it. The virtual book launch and the mini course, if you order anything there, you are going to receive a gift from me, which is going to be an ebook copy of the book when the book drops. We have your email, we have everything. Okay, you can rewind while watching a live on YouTube. Oh, wow, I never knew that. If you can rewind a live, I never knew that. Don't question it's of the devil, LOL. Yep, that's what they tell us, isn't it? That's what they tell us. They tell us don't question. Anytime someone tells me don't question, when questions are my superpower, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I love your info and vibes, sister. Thank you. I love it. I love it. I love it. Family, I've got to tell you something. I cannot convey how important it is to free your mind. I cannot tell you, family, how important it is to free your mind. Your mind is a great gift from the universal source. Many people say that because I say that the God in the Bible is not God Almighty, they think I'm an atheist. I am by no means an atheist. Oh no, I am one with the infinite source, as are you. And your mind is a treasure. And so many people's minds remain shackled. Not because we can't know. Thousands of years ago, illiteracy was common. Most people couldn't read. You have the gift of being able to read and comprehend, and at your fingertips, at our fingertips is any information you want to know like that. So why are the occult, the dark occultists that rule people with ancient books, rule people with religion, rule people with academia, some people, rule people with, there are multiple systems and points by which they try to control the masses, especially the book. They like to use that big book to control a lot of people, control the masses. Did we see the book of Eli? He said, I need the book. Why did he want the book? I need that book. Because it has the words in it. And I'm going to stand up and be a preacher. Aha! And I'm going to say the words. And then I'm going to control all of these people. I'm going to be their king. Ooh! Makes me shiver that there are people that actually like that. A free being doesn't want to enslave anyone. A truly free being has no desire to enslave anyone. Okay, Orthodox Church was subordinate to the Egyptian, Greek, Coptic, Oriental Church until Selassie made it. In the 1970s was caused his assassination. Haile Selassie was quite the renegade, cutting-edge maverick, just as I know all of you are. You might wonder what this has to do with Christian witchcraft. I'm going to end with this. You know how they love to tell you that you can't do magic because it's condemned by God? No, it's not. You know how they love to tell you you can't do witchcraft because witches are evil? No, they're not. No, we're not. And they use the Bible and religion as basis to condemn and judge people who still hold to the old ways and practices of nature that the Christian faith drew heavily on in creating their doctrine in the first place. How is that? And I'm going to end with that. They told you to hate on the pagans, yet Christianity drew from the pagans to create Christianity. The gig is up. It's over. I love you. I'll see you next Wednesday. Mwah! Peace. Casey out.